What's up, Beam Tribe? Nick here in Ottawa, and today I'm going to cover the plantar reset. Now, plantar is really just an anatomical term that means bottom side of the foot. Okay, so today we're going to be working on releasing all the stuff at the bottom of the foot. So you have layers like skin, fascia, you have muscles, and when we apply the pressure to these areas, we're trying to reset the muscles that might be locked up and tight. We're trying to improve the ability of all the sliding surfaces to interact with each other. So the skin needs to be able to move independently from the fascia, needs to be able to move independently from the muscles. If everything gets stuck together, then we start to lose the ability of the foot to function like it's supposed to. Okay? Another big part that we're going to be working on indirectly is mobilizing the joints of the foot. So in each of your feet, you have 26 joints, or 26 bones, 33 joints. All those joints are supposed to be able to move. And when we don't spend time on a variety of surfaces, or we don't wear footwear that allows those joints to move, the joints can get really stiff. So this plantar reset is aimed at improving tissue mobility, resetting tight muscles, but also mobilizing the joints of the foot. Now, who is this good for? This is good for anyone that's got foot pain to start with. And when you're first starting to do this, you have to do your own experiment. And what I mean by that is you have to discover for yourself what method of doing this gives you the most relief. So today I'm going to try a couple different methods. I'm going to be using our 2-foot classic maple beam as sort of a tool to be able to release the foot, but I'm also going to be using a lacrosse ball, which is something that comes in our foot restoration kit and something we sell at TFC. But really any ball that's hard enough that it doesn't compress and squish too much, and that you can get enough pressure on the bottom of your foot to get some tolerable discomfort is going to work just fine. Golf ball is a little bit intense, tennis ball can sometimes slide around, but anything you can find at home that you can get that sensation of almost like a massage type of feeling is going to work just fine. In terms of the dose, we like to recommend, if you've got foot pain, or if you've got really sensitive feet, or if you've got really tight feet, a good way to program this into your day is 2-2-2. Okay, it's an easy way to remember it. So 2 minutes per foot, twice a day for 2 weeks. And that we find is a really good minimum effective dose to get started with that gives a ton of people relief. We get feedback on this all the time saying that something this simple, if it's done consistently, which can sometimes be the hardest part, is being consistent with doing this, can give some powerful effects. So let's go through and show you guys what that looks like. I'm gonna start with the lacrosse ball. Now when you're working on the foot, what you really want to do is, I'm just going to point this down a little bit. There we go. You want to cover as much of the bottom of the foot, so this is the plantar side of the foot, and you want to cover as much of this as you can except for the heel bone. So the heel bone is just like a bone with a layer of fat on it, but everything else is fair game. And if you want to do a good test, a test that I like is, can you stand on a lacrosse ball without touching the ground? Now the balance part of that is hard, but you should be able to do this with little to no discomfort. I know when I first started doing this or tried this, I was like, no way. But as you start to work on your foot and it loosens up, it becomes more tolerable. So I like to start by rolling up and down for a minute. So I'll start on the inside arch of the foot, I'll roll up and down, I'll go to the outside arch. Okay, and I'll do that for about a minute, rolling up and down. And then I also like to pin my heel on the floor and then roll from side to side. Okay, so just like this, start in the front, slowly go down to the back, and at the back sometimes I'll even put my forefoot down and go like that. So you can roll up and down, side to side, minute each way. And then if you're using a beam, sometimes I'll just kind of put my foot on there and I'll roll from side to side. Okay, I'll sometimes even just put pressure where I'll just kind of go like this, and sometimes I'll even smear and twist. Different angles. Okay, and you can kind of work your foot in that way. It's just a different tool, okay, a little bit different, but also kind of really helpful, I find, to just mobilize the foot. Okay, so that is plantar release. I hope that ends up giving you, a couple little tips of things that you can start working on. It's really about consistency, and when you're trying to essentially install a new behavior, it really helps to find something you already do every day that you don't have to remember to do and pair it up with this behavior. Okay, so for example, if you brush your teeth every day, twice a day, if you put a lacrosse ball beside your toothbrush, it's really easy to make sure that you work on your foot mobility and releasing the plantar side of your foot every day, twice a day, because the reminder's there, right? You have a prompt with an anchor behavior that you already do, and that's a really easy way to remember it, okay? Push as hard as you find is tolerable. Be mindful that while you're doing it, it shouldn't be excruciatingly painful, but you should be pushing hard enough that it feels like kind of a deep massage, okay? Think to yourself and reflect back, how do I feel after I do this? After a week of doing it twice a day, how do my feet feel? Are they less sensitive? Are they less painful? Okay, so do your own experiment. Maybe jot a little note down each time you do it to record it so that you can look back and see how things are going. And hopefully that helps you or anyone that you know or love that's having foot pain start to sort of address the root cause and deal with some of that stiffness or tissue tension. Okay, catch you in the next video.